Well, hello, hello. It's Heidi Dulabon. Hello, it's Heidi Dulabon, and we are live on YouTube and Instagram, and we are talking about afternoon tea. Yes, if you were kind enough to join us on Thursday, we sort of did a little bit of the behind the scenes, set the scene for the foundational knowledge, the history, if you will, of afternoon tea. And refresher, 4,000 years ago, the Chinese started drinking tea, and fast forward, it found its way to England by way of a royal marriage. Great story. And then we got to Anna, one of Queen Victoria's ladies in waiting, who was a bit peckish one afternoon because she was an aristocrat and was really hungry. Lunch wasn't a big affair in those days, and she was really hungry, waiting until 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night for her dinner. So she sent off for a little cake and some tea, and it came, and it was just fantastic. And thus now we have afternoon tea. So please, if anyone has any questions, please, if you'd be so kind, jump over to YouTube and you can ask a question. I'll have to put my glasses on. Hopefully I can see it. But we are just going to go over afternoon tea. What we've done now is we've gone through all the foundational things, and now we're just going to talk a little bit about actually sitting and attending or hosting an afternoon tea. Okay, so we have made little sandwiches. So afternoon tea, its tea time is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Anytime from 3 to 5 is afternoon tea. And what is served? Tea. Tea is the star of the show. Today, I am serving a beautiful Darjeeling, a black tea from Fortnum and Mason. Huge fan, beautiful shop. They've been in the tea business since tea started in England. They have a beautiful, beautiful shop in Piccadilly. If you're ever so lucky, check it out. Okay. And so I guess you guys, I'm a bit of a tea snob. I really, really love having beautiful English tea. I'm half English, and it's the first thing I have every day is a beautiful cup of English tea. And then I move on to, of course, coffee, because I am an American. All right. So tea is the star of the show. We have Darjeeling today, and we have our 3-tiered tea caddy. Now, if you're hosting an afternoon at tea at home, please be aware you might not have a 3-tiered tea caddy. This you will find in posh hotels if you go, or very nice afternoon tea in a tea house someplace. Traditionally, 3-tiered tea caddy. I happen to have a slew of them, so I pull them out. I think it's fun. It's just fun, but it's not necessary. If you're going to host an afternoon tea at home, it is absolutely fine for you to just put them on plates, put the same thing. But for the tea, the first course, the first thing we start with are tea sandwiches. And I'm just going to take this off to show you. Today we are going very classic, and we have cucumber sandwiches, cucumbers and a little cream cheese with dill, and we have smoked salmon, very classic. Okay, and we have little brown bread and white bread. And just make sure that the crusts are cut off and it's super thin. You want very, very thin bread. The middle, and the sandwiches are meant to take the edge off your appetite. And then we move to the middle tier, and this is the scones or scones if you're in the UK. And we have made some beautiful scones with some raisins, and that is the middle. And then, of course, you top it all off with the top layer that everybody loves, including me, which is the desserts. And then these desserts are meant to be for individuals. So each one would take something. I'm going to have just a small group today. There's just going to be 4 of us for afternoon tea, let's say, and this is plenty for the 4 of us. Now, if you're having a big group, be sure that you have probably another plate, a duplication of this ready to go so you can keep replenishing, because my philosophy of hosting is it needs to be in abundance. You must be a generous person, have a generous spirit when you are a good host. Okay, so now let's talk about the table setting for afternoon tea. I love it because it's simple. Afternoon tea is meant to be simple. It is fun. It is stuffy affair at all. Make it that way if you want, but that's not the intention. The intention is to spend some time with family or friends and make this. The simple table setting is all we really need is a fork, a knife, and a spoon for our tea, of course. A luncheon size plate. If you don't have that, that's fine. Just use a today I'm using Spode. We all have a napkin and they are usually smaller napkins. So I will put my napkin on my lap. And let's talk about the teacups for a moment. This is Spode. I've had this for years and years and years, actually since I was a child. And mine is blue Italian. It's very classic Spode, and Josiah Spode worked back in the day in Stoke-on-Trent in England. And he was great friends with Josiah Wedgwood. So so you have Spode and Wedgwood. They're big buddies. They're doing ceramics, it's called, at the same time. And what they found was that they were very, very delicate. So when you're having tea, people would have tea, you put the milk in first. And this is a whole controversy, everybody. This is a whole controversy. Is it milk in first or is it tea in first? There's some strong opinions, let's just say, about it. And in this Ode's day, before he invented what I'm going to tell you, early days, you put milk in first and then the hot tea because the milk tempered the teacup and the teacup wouldn't shatter. Okay, but then Mr. Spode, there were several, father and son. Mr. Spode was very clever and he came up with a new formula, although it's a little controversial if he was the first one or not, but for our purposes, let's say he was. And the formula included bone ash, actual bone ash from an oxen bone. And they even got specific about which bones from an ox. So they started putting oxen bone ash into the formula for the ceramics, and they found it made the ceramics, the teacup, very, very strong. So strong that you did not need to temper the teacup anymore with the milk, that you could start directly with the tea. The hot, piping hot tea could go directly into the teacup and it would not shatter. But here's the caveat. That fine bone china, as it became known, so now you know where that comes from, fine bone china. It was actually boned in those days. So it was uber expensive. Only the wealthiest people could afford that. So it became sort of a status symbol, if you will. You know, you're having tea with somebody and you go to their house and you're putting the milk in first because you need to temper the teacup so it doesn't shatter. Well, you go to someone else's house and they just pour the tea in first and you think, oh my gosh, are they wealthy? So there's just a little fun backstory. And then the formula was perfected and it became much cheaper so that all of us could have fine bone china, which is really nice. Okay, so now let's just go on a little bit about what we have here. And I think maybe we have a little question. So let's just talk. For the computer and the phone are quite a way away. I would say milk first because you can tell how much milk you actually added. I feel like you can have too much milk. Yes, that's actually true. That's a very good point. And see, that is why everyone has such a strong opinion. Now, I tend to go tea in first, and I pretty much know how much milk I want to add. I know the color that I like. It is said that the Queen of England puts her tea in first, but I mean, how would I really know? So you do you. That's the thing. You know, this snobbery about it, nah, don't worry about it. You do you. That's what's important. And there's no judging in etiquette. Okay, so we have that. So now, just so you know, if you want to be uber proper, when you set your table for your afternoon tea, The teacup, the handle of the teacup should be at 3 o'clock. So just pretend that the teacup is the face of a clock. The handle would be at 3 o'clock when you set the table. Okay, and then of course you know how to hold your teacup, right? You know, properly hold it like this with your fingers. Okay, no pinkies, please. No pinkies. No, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. Okay, so going on here, we have our tea strainer because this is always loose tea. Loose tea is thought to have a much better taste. So an afternoon tea, a proper afternoon tea, and this is a proper British afternoon tea, by the way, would have loose tea, and so you need a tea strainer. And so this tea strainer, if you can see, actually goes over the top of the teacup, and then from there, the water is poured in, the tea is poured in from my teapot. And then you go a few little dinks, and then you have a little base that the strainer goes on. Now you're saying, Heidi, but what's with this other little silver pot there? Well, this other little silver pot is for hot water, because when you're serving the tea, you will ask your guest, do you take your tea strong or weak? And their answer will tell you how full to pour the tea, because in afternoon tea, it is an honor to be the person pouring the tea. So perhaps, let's say I'm hosting this at home and you are my guest today and you are my guest of honor. And I would say to you, would you please do the honors? And that means, would you pour the tea? So that is a real little, a real warm thing that I'm giving. I like you so much. I want you to have the honor of pouring the tea, or else the host can pour the tea. So you will say, would you like this? Do you take your tea strong or weak? Okay, so what that means is if you say, someone says to you, I take it strong, please. Well, then you would fill their cup up about 3/4 full, because in case they want to add a little bit of milk. Or if they are a miffer, it's a tiffer or a miffer. Tiffer, tea in first, miffer, milk in first. Okay, so you'd say, and that they say, no, I like it weak, then you would pour the cup about half full. And then this little pot has hot water in it. And then they are able to dilute the tea themselves to their liking. So that's why there is another little teapot here. Okay, so what are we going to put in our tea besides milk? Well, we have sugar, of course, and for fun, it's always fun to have some sugar cubes, 1 cube or 2 or 3 or 4. We have some butter and we have some jam, and those are for the scones. Now, typically in England, you would have clotted cream, which is a very, 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 very thick, heavy cream. It's so thick. To me, it's almost like putting butter, really, really heavy butter fat content. It's very good, but I cannot get that where I live. So I'm just using butter and clotted cream. You can make it. I have tried making it and that successful with it. But if I'm ever in a really or a big city with a really big grocery store, I love cream. And then of course, some people like lemon. Some people don't, they do not want milk. They just would like a little lemon. Maybe they'd like a little sugar, but be careful if you want lemon, put the lemon in first and the sugar cube, put the sugar cube in first and then the lemon, so it will dissolve. Okay, so now we've gone through everything. We know that this is an informal, this is casual, this is meant to just be fun. And I think we have another comment. So, okay, glasses again. I don't drink milk though, so I'm not sure if someone's saying, well, yes, now you could have, I have milk here, and some people, I have friends that are strict vegans, and so I would have almond milk for them, or oat milk. I would have some sort of plant-based milk or some other type of substitute. So again, when you're hosting something, be aware of your guest's dietary restrictions or limitations, so you can have something that would accommodate them. They don't like milk, but they would prefer some other substitute. So the the rules are in etiquette that it is the host duty when you invite your guests to find out any dietary restrictions. And your guests, it's their responsibility to tell you. Now, again, judgment-free zone in etiquette. You don't ask why. They would just say, I drink soy milk. No problem. That's great. And you have that for them. They do not owe you an explanation, and it is not your business to ask, well, why do you drink soy milk? You don't need to just have that for them. Okay, so I think we have everything, and we have our sandwiches. So let's just start with the tea. And today I'm going to be a tiffer. I'm going to put my tea in first. Okay, so again, we put our strainer over our cup of tea, our teapot, our beautiful spode tea cup. And now I'm just going to pour. And this has steeped. By the way, here's the formula. I told you I use Fortnum and Mason Darjeeling, beautiful tea. And this is a 4-cup teapot. So you need to know how many cups your teapot holds. And the formula is 1 heaping teaspoon for each cup. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's the fun part. It's always an extra spoonful for the pot. So 1 heaping teaspoon per cup, and always 1 more for the pot. Okay, so I have this ready. I have boiled the water. I know that this is steeped. And you say, well, how long should we steep our tea? Well, it depends on how you like your tea. So I like my tea on the stronger side. So I go about 5 to 6 minutes. I think a good average is 4 to 6 minutes, depending on you, like a little weak, but you can always dilute it with your extra water. So about 5 minutes, I think, is about perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to pour, and I don't know if you can see, well, you probably can't. There's a lot of loose tea in there. And so we are going to just pour the tea through the tea strainer. And how do I take my tea? Strong, please. So that means about 3/4 full, right? So now I put my teapot down, and I have caught, I'm not see if you can see this or not. I'll try to get this a little bit. I have caught some of the loose tea, this beautiful Darjeeling tea, and now I put it into my little base, and there I am. And I have this, let's move the teapot so you can see. We have this lovely cup of tea. And a lot of times you can sort of go by the color, okay? So now I'm a tiffer. I put my tea in first. So now I'm going to put a little bit of milk. And here I just know that I just like a little bit. I know that. Okay, now that's the perfect color for my taste. So everybody, you do your taste. I would like a sugar cube. Yes, please. Thank you very much. I would just like 1. And I just have fun with sugar cubes. I like the brown ones and the white ones. I think it makes a nice thing. Okay, now here's a little tip. If you go on if you're invited to an afternoon tea, take the sugar cube, put it at the edge of your cup, and let it go. Don't hold it here and let it go down, because it will splash, and you don't want that. But I think we have a comment. So excuse me one moment, please. Okay, is it odd at an informal tea time to have different tea bags to offer, meaning fruit teas or seasoned teas, or is that a no? That's a very, very good question. And let me just tell you that tea bags are, the first tea bags were silk, actual real silk, and that evolved because it was so simple. And the early days, they made tea bags out of silk because this was an easy way for tea sellers to show their wares, to show the kinds of tea they have. Now, do we use tea bags? Yes, I will say every morning when I have my beautiful English cup of tea I'm telling you about, I have a tea bag. It's a tea bag because you know what? It's easy. So you're doing an afternoon tea and you want to do tea bags, that is fine. Again, this is not a stuffy affair. This is a fun affair. If you're going to a very posh hotel around the world, by the way, not just in the UK, but around the world, there are versions of British afternoon tea. And, you will pretty much find loose tea. But but if you want to have tea bags, that is fine. I would use, instead of the tea strainer, I would use though the little base. So there, or you need some sort of little receptacle for the tea bag. So yes, tea bags, that's fine. Don't get so hung up on everything. It is kind of fun to try work around some loose tea. It's not something we do every day, so it's a little fun. But yes, tea bags. Okay, and you asked a really great question here about fruit teas. Fruit teas or herbal teas, those are infused. They're not really considered an actual tea by the definition. And yes, it's nice to offer that. Actually, I think it's really nice if you can offer a variety of teas. I did an afternoon tea recently for a group. I do a lot of these during the pandemic. Lots of groups booked me, and I did afternoon tea virtually. And I sent out beautiful little tea kits to all the attendees, and it was so much fun. I do this in person. I work with hotels and different groups. I've done them for showers, baby showers, bridal showers. It makes a great afternoon tea. And then I always offer a selection of teas, maybe 2 pots of tea, a black tea, a Darjeeling, and maybe lots of people love Earl Grey. It's said that the Queen drinks Earl Grey. And then I also always have a tea with no caffeine, which would be like one of the fruit or herbal teas. There's no caffeine in that, and some people prefer that. So it's always nice, super question, to have a variety of tea offerings, a tea menu, if you will. When you go to some posh teas and some of these really posh hotels around the world, you will be given a menu, and this is your tea menu, and you will choose the type of tea you like. And we have black teas, and of course we also have green teas. We have the most delicate tea is a white tea, and it's very rare. And there is also a tea called oolong. And this is kind of neat about tea. If you missed this on Thursday, oh, and apologies, on Thursday, my internet went out. Can you believe that? Don't you hate it when that happens? You're so excited about something, you're going, and then the internet goes out. I mean, we were having storms. I'm in the southeastern part of the United States, and we had terrible storms. So I apologies to those that I had some comments, people that said, what happened to you? So apologies for that. But I did say on Thursday that there is one tea plant, just this, while you're friends with this one. Coffee, there's 2 types of coffee plants, Robusta and, but here with our tea, we have one tea plant, and it is the Camilla sinensis one, and all the different teas, black, green, white, oolong. The difference, besides the terroir, just as in winemaking, and the climate, all the things that go into agriculture, besides the terroir and the climate, it is the same tea plant, but it's in the processing. Black tea is highly processed. It's a fermentation, if you will, up to white tea, which is basically not almost not processed at all. So just a little tidbit there for you. Okay, so we have this. Now you're going to say, okay, well, how do you stir this tea? Now, do I just put my spoon in and just start going crazy? No, if you want to be at the most proper afternoon tea etiquette, you do you, but here's what it is. You put your spoon into the center of the teacup. You don't quite hit the bottom or the sides, and you just move back and forth. And that's fine. It stirs it all up. Okay, there. And then your teaspoon rests on your saucer. So that's pretty easy. And I think I have another comment here, so let's just see. And I want to make sure I'm seeing everything. Oh, thank you for someone. Thank you. This is great. Thank you for giving your touch up. Thank you so much for saying that. Let me see. Evolve M, thank you for that. And let's see. I appreciate all these comments so much. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so now the tea, we know how to stir it. We have our tea strainer. I don't like lemon in my tea, so I didn't have to go there. Okay, so now let's get to the good stuff. We've made these sandwiches. All right, so as the host, you could say, would you like something? Please start. And this is the highest etiquette again with you do you. Okay, so you start at the bottom, you work your way up to the top, and you would take, this salmon sandwich is closest to me. So and it's finger food. This is finger food. So you take it with my fingers, and I have a salmon one on my plate. And if someone is sitting next to me and they cannot reach the salmon, I turn the plate, and then I could turn the plate for them so they can easily reach the salmon. Okay, so I love salmon. I just love smoked salmon. So I'm going to have some of this. So it is finger food. I picked it up, but it looks like the salmon's kind of hearty in here. So I think I have a knife and fork, and it's up to me, but I think this is not a one bite. So I would cut this using our utensils correctly, and then I would eat this, excuse me. That's wonderful. I made these sandwiches this morning, and this is from Fortnum and Mason, again, this beautiful shop in London. This is from one of their tea books, and they're all their recipes today. So if you would like that, please message me directly. I will get recipes to you because they are good. There is this really nice herbal. I have a nice big pot of herbs I'm growing on the deck. I snipped some herbs, and that is in with this creme fraiche for this salmon today. It's really, really nice. Okay, and for the cucumber sandwiches, I have sliced very thinly a nice cucumber. Again, finger sandwiches. I just pick it up with my fingers from there. And I've made, from Fortnum and Mason's recipe, this really nice cream cheese, and it has fresh dill in it, and you mix that all up. And the cucumbers have been with some white wine vinegar for a little bit, and it really is very delicious. I'll try to cut this so you can maybe have a look. But and I put this on the white bread, and then you cut this to a bite-sized piece. And excuse me, we'll try this. That's great. I love dill. If you like dill, you'll love this. Okay, happy to share these recipes with you. Okay, so that was lovely. And let's just pretend I've eaten all these sandwiches, and I will later. I'm going to eat the salmon. That's really good. Okay, so then the next course is the scones or scones. Okay, again, it's finger food. I'm going to reach for the one that is nearest to me. And I'm very happy how these turned out. And what you want is the scone to have a bit of, I'll just say scone. I'm in America today, so if you just allow me today, you can see there's a bit of a score. It's scored just a little bit, so we know where to break it. Because a common question when I do afternoon tea events I get is, do I cut the scone? No, and the answer is no. And I'll tell you why, because it is the same as any bread. You do not cut bread. And everything in etiquette, oh gosh, please watch some of my YouTube videos. Follow me on YouTube. I'd be so happy if you'd subscribe, please. And I've got so much about the history of etiquette and where everything came from, because every single thing, if you can see, the blade of my knife is facing me. And there's history in that. And that is because if the blade was out in the Middle Ages, that meant if I placed my blade out, resting on my plate, that meant it's a sign of aggression. We're going to fight later tonight. We're going to have a rumble. So every single thing has a history and a why. With etiquette, I'm happy to do etiquette. I practice etiquette. It's what I do. But I want to know why. Where did this stuff come from? Just tell me why in the history, and I'm happy to do it. And I'll remember it. That's the other thing. You will remember why. Okay, so here we go. Why are we going to break this? I'm going to break this scone here. Oh, look. Oh, yay. And I made these. This turned out. Okay, it broke in two. Why did I break this and not cut it with a knife? It's biblical. A lot of etiquette has roots in the Bible, because it was said you break bread with Christ. and you did not cut bread. And then that saying, it has evolved to mean a communal act. Let's break bread together, and it's a hospitable, communal, warm act. And so, who knew? That's why you don't cut bread, you break bread. And I've worked with a lot of universities, and there's always a student that will raise their hand and say to me, but Heidi, I was at one of the big chain steakhouses, and they brought out the big loaf of bread, and it had a great big knife stuck in the middle of it, and we had to cut it. That's fine. That's fine. That's informal dining. That is fine. Cut the bread. I'm just telling you, at the highest circles at an afternoon tea, you would not cut your scone. And now you know where that comes from. But if you're at a casual dining establishment and they bring you that, I've seen it. I like it myself. And the giant knife in there, like a Bowie knife or something. Yes, that's fine. So again, my version of etiquette, everyone, is here are the rules. I know the rules. Here's the history. Here's the why we do this. Why are the rules the way they are? I can tell you all of this. Then I'll also tell you, don't take yourself too seriously. We're all just on this planet enjoying our lives. And so the rules, and that sometimes you're at the situation calls for you to have be on your very best behavior, as my mother would say, God rest her soul. So just knowing the rules and when you need to do them, but casual dining, cut that bread at the big steakhouse. It's okay. All right. So now, okay, guys, another big controversy. Are we going to put butter on or jam on first? What's it going to be? I don't know. It's just a huge thing. Well, it depends on, they say in England, where you are. Are you, so we won't get into the too nitty gritty of it, but I will tell you that I prefer to put a little butter on first, which would be the equivalent of the clotted cream. Is what they do in Devon, in the southwest of England. Let's put on a little bit of I'm just using butter today because that's what I had. And any communal thing, butter, take it from the communal butter and I put it on my plate. You never put it directly from the communal butter or whatever it is, communal whatever, onto what you're going to eat. You would never do that. Put it onto your plate, just like the jam. I'm going to have a little bit of this lovely jam. And I put that also directly onto my plate. From my plate, I put it onto the scone. Okay, so in Cornwall, they like to do it just the opposite. So again, another big controversy. You do it how you like to do it. But here's the important piece. Break off one piece at a time. So break off one piece at a time, a little bit of butter, a little bit of jam. That's how I like it. You do it how you like it. Maybe you just like it plain. I put raisins in these scones today, so there's a little sweetness already to them. So I have one piece. You break off one piece at a time. You do not butter the entire scone the whole time. You just break off and butter and eat one piece at a time. Excuse me again. Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, I think I see another question. So again, glasses because you're far away. Let's see here. Okay, I think, and then hi to everyone. Oh, hi, Megs. Okay, hi to everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to do this. It means the world to me, you guys. This is fun. This is what I do. I love doing afternoon tea events. I love it when my agency calls and said, we have another afternoon tea book. I'm so excited about that. Okay, so let's just pretend we've gone through all our scones, right? Okay, we've had those. Now, my plate would not look messy like this because I'm just going to swap because I would have eaten all this, right? Yeah, I would have eaten all this. Let me just switch out with this guest to show you because now we're going to get up to the top layer. But first, I'm thirsty. I'd like a little drink of the tea, please. So let's have a little sip of the tea. There's etiquette on how you drink the tea out of the teacup too. Wouldn't you know it? I mean, there's etiquette to all of it. Okay, we know how to hold our teacup, right? No pinkies ever. Okay, here's the etiquette if you want to be super proper. Okay, so you look down into the cup and you never look over the cup. Okay, so I'll demonstrate because I'm thirsty. I want a little bit of this beautiful Darjeeling. Okay, so just a sip. I bring the tea up to me. I do not slouch. No, sit up straight. Better for your digestion, by the way. Okay, sit up straight. Oh, that's lovely. That's really lovely. That's really lovely. I love Darjeeling and Assam. Those are some of my favorites. Okay, so remember, you look into the teacup. You would not look, as opposed to you say, well, what are you talking about, Heidi? Well, this is looking over. This is looking over. Yeah, so you do not do that. Okay, so gosh, we've got all this proper stuff. So now, okay, we're down to, we've had our sandwiches that took off the edge of our appetite. That's their intent. Then we had some great scones, a little carbs, right? We got to, carb up. And now we're looking at the little treats at the top. Okay, so dirty little secret. I don't always make all of the desserts. I ran out of time today. Sorry. I did make the fruit tarts and I just ran out of time. So I did get to I'm going to just take this down to show you. I bought some French macarons and some little tiny cakes. So I did make the fruit tarts, but if you don't have time to make everything, I'm just going to take one of these then. And it is okay, during an afternoon tea, sometimes the top layer is harder to get to. So, and on Instagram, I'm not sure if you can see all this. Can you see all this? I hope that you're able to see all that. So anyway, sorry about that. I'm trying to work two devices, so bear with me, please. I ask for your patience with that. So then you would take this is just a little tiny thing. I can cut this and eat this, and it's just lovely. And that is sort of the end. Now, something that I really love, and I probably should have done it today, but this is afternoon tea, and there are different types of teas, and we briefly talked about it Thursday and before the internet went out. And there's cream tea, and cream tea is just scones and the tea. There's proper afternoon tea, which is what we're having today, and then there is royal tea. Royal afternoon tea, my personal favorite, is exactly this, what we're doing today, with a glass of champagne. So level up that afternoon tea with a glass of champagne, a little of the old bubbly, and you have now leveled up to royal tea. So add champagne, and there you go. That's a nice royal tea. So then we've gone through everything, and now if I had finished the tea, I could do that. So now let's just say I am finished. I've enjoyed my little cake, and I put my knife and fork in the finished position. You've watched all my videos. If you haven't, please, we have so many on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. And then we would end the tea. We would say, well, thank you. This has just been a lovely afternoon tea. And this is just meant to be tie you over until a later dinner that evening. But sometimes I've been on afternoon teas that, it's so hearty that is the dinner, especially when you're traveling, and it can be kind of cost effective. You have a beautiful afternoon tea and you really don't need much else for the end of the day when you're traveling. And I'm often asked, Heidi, what are your favorite teas, afternoon teas around the world? And I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm also a lifelong traveler. And I was raised that way. My parents believed a huge part of my little sisters and our education was through travel. Be exposed to other cultures, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, languages. And I love that. I still do that today. I believe strongly in celebrating our differences. So I'm lucky that I've traveled and I've been to, some magnificent proper British afternoon teas in London. I've been to the Ritz, I've been to the Connaught, I've been to the Berkeley, I've been to the Langham. But my favorite, the Milestone Hotel. It's across from Kensington Palace. So if you're in London, the Milestone Hotel, it's part of the Red Carnation, a very small boutique hotel group that's exquisite. Tell them Heidi sent you there at the Milestone, will you? And I love, love, love that. But then outside the UK, when you start traveling around the world, I've been in Buenos Aires with a group that I travel with. And we were at the Four Seasons Buenos Aires and had an absolutely incredible afternoon tea. I've had afternoon tea at the Ritz in Paris, incredible. And everybody does puts their spin on it, and that's really fun. I've been in India, in Mumbai at the Taj, and in New Delhi at Leela Palace. Oh, incredible. There are, no matter where you are when you're traveling, there are some incredible, just incredible afternoon teas. Experience them if you can. Try hosting this at home. Have some friends in, make it fun. Maybe somebody's birthday these are great for bridal showers, by the way, or baby showers. It's just a really great event. I just love doing them. I love attending them. And another common question I ask is, what do you wear to afternoon tea? I would say, I call it, my friends laugh at me, but I call it high casual. Be something high cash. And I just have on just a little dress. You don't have to do that, but I try to make it a little bit better. Can you wear jeans? Yes, you can. You can wear jeans and a nice top. That's okay too. But it's fun to make a little bit of an effort, just kick it up just a little bit of a notch, because it sort of helps celebrate the whole atmosphere and just get into it. And does anyone have any questions? I'm going to put my glasses back on so I can read and see if anyone has any questions. Practicing of, let's see, let me just get over a little closer. Bear with me. Okay, says, practicing all of these etiquette rules because they are so logical and have so much common sense. Everybody could make them habits. Oh, we need more good manners in life. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I agree. If we all just start practicing these things, you know what this is, etiquette. Etiquette is about being kind. It's about being a kind, caring, respectful person, and celebrate differences of us around the world with a healthy and respectful curiosity. And you're going to learn something. You're going to learn some really neat things, and then the world just gets a little kinder, a little bit better, and it can start with an afternoon tea. Who knew? Who knew? Just about being kind and caring. Do you know there's tons of research done with children, and that if children are young school-age children are taught to be kind and caring, research shows that those children will grow up to be better students. They're going to get better marks or grades in school. They go on to be more successful in their careers. And the most important thing is they're happier people. And that's what's really cool. So this is how important etiquette, practicing good manners is. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. If I put my knife and fork incorrectly on my plate, guess what? The world is going to keep spinning. But I know what is proper, but if I mess up, it's okay. It's really okay, because you are a kind, caring person, and that's what really matters. That is the core of etiquette. It's about being kind and respectful. So I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. Let me just see. I see some more things here. I love your etiquette rules you present in your videos. Oh, thank you. Thank you for watching them. Thank you. Thank you. Please, if you have not subscribed, please join our channel on YouTube. It's Heidi Doulaban on YouTube. We have, I think is it over 200 or so, something? And we post all the time. So keep coming back, hit the notification button, hit that little bell, because we post all the time, several times a week. I love doing these lives. Anybody wants recipes, anybody wants anything, you have any more questions, please just message me directly, or put a comment in on YouTube. This is live, but it's being recorded. So I think Olivia from my team, I see that Olivia's here. Thank you, Olivia. Olivia will make sure that this lives on our channel on YouTube, and you can always send a comment. I read every single comment and I respond to everyone, unless they're swearing in it. So, you know, I've had a couple of bad ones, which was a little boo, but you know, what are you going to do? It was only 2%. Okay. So anyway, it was awesome. Thank you. Happy tea. All the best to you. And thank you for tuning in. And as I always say, everyone, please, please be kind. Thank you. Okay. This was so much fun. All righty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was lovely to be with you. And now I put my glasses back on so I can see how to turn everybody off. Thank you so much. All the best. All right. Thank you so much, everyone on YouTube. I so appreciate. Thank you.
It was good, Liz.